So it says, Ryan and Ellen, my husband and I were about to separate earlier this year for many reasons, but the main reason was his addiction to alcohol. But in May, he got in a pretty bad car accident after driving drunk. That's when he realized he needed to seek help. I helped him through everything. I was by his side the whole time. He's been sober now for 5 months, something we never thought would happen. But now, he's a jerk. And he isn't romantic. He's not as fun as he used to be. He told me he isn't going to my family's Thanksgiving because he doesn't want to be tempted to drink. She says, yes, it sounds like a good reason, but my heart is telling me he's lying to me. That is interesting because she must know something more to think he'd be going through a situation like that he'd be lying about it.
Yeah.
Carla?
Yeah?
I'm troubled. I mean, I'm happy that your husband is on the right track, but I'm troubled that you are doubting that he's why do you think he's not telling you the truth?
Lately he just really hasn't been the same, and he tends to be like really romantic, and lately we just, he comes home really late. He's not...
Is he going to meetings, AA meetings?
Yeah. He's going to AA meetings, but I mean, they only go for so long, right?
Have you ever gone with him?
No, I haven't, and I wanted to, but every time I suggest it, he tells me, oh, you wouldn't understand, you wouldn't get it, you would get bored, blah blah, like all of these excuses. So I've made the effort to want to go with him, but he just, I don't know.
But I was thinking maybe he was more romantic and more fun when he was drinking, and that's just why, like, he had a little buzz on, and then he became a little less guarded, and that may be what happened.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like there's, it was like him, who he was. I mean, he doesn't even when he comes home, he doesn't even give me a kiss. He doesn't give me a kiss when he, leaves. We haven't been intimate since he's been sober, in a really long time. So I feel like there's something else that he's not telling me.
All right, do you have any kids?
Yeah.
How many?
3 kids.
You have 3 kids. All right, let's call your husband next. Hang on 1 second.
Okay.
Horrible what she's been through and what the family has been through, and now this.
You would think that this husband of hers would have appreciated her a whole lot more than he clearly did, and it was interesting because Carla, she's married, she's in a relationship.
3 kids in.
3 kids in. Her husband was having a drinking problem, and then he finally got help after getting into an accident while driving drunk. She says since then, he's turned into a real jerk. And he's not romantic anymore. He does not want to go with her family to Thanksgiving dinner, which they always do. And so she started adding it all up, saying, what is with this man that I'm married to? He got help. He seems to be in a better place, but now he's treating me badly. Turns out the reason he's treating her badly is out of guilt, because while he was getting help and she was by his side, he then started to see somebody else to boost his own ego. So we offered him the roses, and it turns out he's falling in love with this other woman he sent the roses to. Take a listen.
Here's the thing, Carla. There was a point where I felt like you were kind of just pushing me away because of the whole thing.
Pushing you away? Pushing you away is me asking to go to these meetings with you, so you know I am behind you 100%. How is that pushing you away?
Listen to that.
Yeah.
He blames her.
Of course he does.
You were pushing me away.
Right.
So I had to go see another woman. While I was getting help for an issue that you were by my side, I felt you were pushing me away. And so I had to see him. Come on, Robert. Come on. 800-520-1027. Hey, Lauren, go ahead. You're on with us.
Hi, Ryan. Well, it just completely broke my heart to listen to her story and the pain that I heard in her voice. But, I think we have to kind of look at this also from his perspective and recognize that we're dealing with somebody that has a mental illness. He's sick, and you don't behave rationally and you don't make choices when you are mentally ill. And the way that I, it makes sense to me that he would look at a woman that is committed, that's there for him, but that also wants him to be a better person as an enemy. Carla deservingly wants somebody that can be there for her, that's reliable, that is not going to drink, that wants her, and she's not dealing with somebody that can actually give that for her. And of course, it makes sense to go with an easier choice, somebody that demands nothing of you, somebody that you can make any kind of mistake with and they'll just take you back. There's like no heart there. So yeah, he may think he's falling in love, but that's not love. There's no love there when there's no real commitment. There's no real desire to be a better person. And I just feel like it's a complete tragedy on all fronts, because you're not dealing with somebody who's healthy. And he's going to be the person that regrets this later in his life. And he's going to look back and he's going to feel that kind of pain that she's feeling right now. I think that once she gets past this initial hurt, she's really going to feel better. She's going to be able to look back and see how she did her best, how she held up her vows. But right now, to me, it just feels awful for all of them. I wanted to turn it off. It was so bad.
I know. All right, Lauren, thank you.
Thank you.
She makes a great point.
Yep.
And I was talking to a friend the other day about this.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to figure out, what's going on in their relationship, and things just weren't adding up. And I said, just that,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, until they figure out what is making them not commit in a way or give in a way or be open in a way, they've got to dig deep down inside and figure it out themselves, no matter how you try and help or what you say or how you sell it. They got to come to that conclusion themselves and work it out within themselves to then be able to clearly see the idiotic move that he's making, and then also appreciate the relationship and be committed to the one that he's in.
Exactly. And how long has he been torturing that anyway? I mean, had he not had a DUI...
What are you gone to get out?
Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense, right? It's simple, deductive pragmatism, but built on a foundation that relies on a woman's accurate self-evaluations. The genuine desire they used to experience at the outset of their relationship was predicated upon a completely unknown set of variables. Overtly communicating a desire for a reciprocal desire creates obligation, and sometimes even ultimatums. Genuine desire is something a person must come to or be led to of their own volition. You can force a woman by threat to comply with behaving in a desired manner, but you cannot make her want to behave that way. A prostitute will fuck you for an exchange. It doesn't mean she wants to. Whether in a monogamous marriage, LTR, or one-night stand, ONS, strive for genuine desire in your relationships. Half of the battle is knowing you want to be with a woman who wants to please you, not one who feels obligated to. You will never draw this genuine desire from her by overt means, but you can covertly lead her to this genuine desire. The trick in provoking real desire is in keeping her ignorant of your intent to provoke it. Real desire is created by her thinking it's something she wants, not something she has to do. The desire dynamic. A woman's imagination is the single most useful tool in your game arsenal. Every technique, every casual response, every gesture, intimation, subcommunication hinges on stimulating a woman's imagination. Competition anxiety relies on it. Demonstrating higher value, DHV, relies on it. Prompting sexual tension relies on it. Call it caffeinating the hamster, if you will. But stimulating a woman's imaginings is the single most potent talent you can develop in any context of a relationship. Divulging the full truth of themselves to women in the mistaken belief that women desire that truth as a basis for qualifying for their intimacy. Learn this now. Women never want full disclosure. Nothing is more self-satisfying for a woman than to think she's figured a man out based solely on her mythical feminine intuition, i.e., imagination. When a man overtly confirms his character, his story, his value, etc. for a woman, the mystery is dispelled, and the biochemical rush she enjoyed from her imaginings, her suspicions, her self-confirmations about you are gone. Most guys with a beta male mindset classically do exactly this on the first date and wonder why they get LJBF promptly after it. This is why. Familiarity is anti-seductive. Nothing kills game, organic passion, and libido like comfortable familiarity. Despite their common filibuster tactics, women don't want to be comfortable with a potential or proven sex partner. They need their imagination stoked to be excited, aroused, and anxious to want sex with a potential partner. In an LTR, there's an even more critical need to keep prodding that imagination. I would go so far as to say it's imperative for a healthy relationship. But then you'll ask, how do you go about that when your LTR girlfriend or wife already knows your story and the familiarity becomes cemented in? The easy answer is, let it never be from the outset. The health of any LTR you might entertain depends and survives on the frame you enter it with. The foundations of a healthy LTR are laid while you are single and dating non-exclusively. I've yet to meet the guy who's told me he's getting more frequent, more intense sex after his LTR, marriage, live-in situation was established. The primary reason for this is the relaxation of the competition anxiety that made the urgency of fucking you with lustful abandon in your dating phase an imperative to get you to commit to her frame. That's the crux of the matter that so many guys fail in. They surrender the frame before they commit to an LTR. They believe, thanks to their feminine conditioning, that commitment necessitates and is synonymous with acquiescing to her frame control. Combine this with anti-seductive familiarity and the growing commonness of your own value because of it, and you can see exactly why her sexual interest wanes. So what do you do to prevent that? First and foremost, understand that whose frame you enter into an LTR with sets the foundation of that LTR. If you find yourself buying into the "it's women's world and we just live in it" mentality, where your default presumption is that commitment means she wins by default, you lose, and that's just how it is. Don't even consider an LTR. She enters your world, not the other way around. Secondly, you need to cultivate an element of unpredictability about yourself prior to and into an LTR. Always remember, perfect is boring. Women will cry a river about wanting Mr. Dependable and then go off and fuck Mr. Exciting. In an LTR, it's necessary to be both, but not one at the expense of the other. Too many married men are terrified to rock the excitement boat with their wives or LTRs because their sex lives hang in the balance of placating to her and her already preset frame. She must be reminded daily why you are fun, unpredictable, and exciting, not only to her, but other women as well. This requires covertly, tactfully, demonstrably implying that other women find you desirable. Women crave the chemical rush that comes from suspicion and indignation. If you don't provide it, they'll happily get it from tabloids, romance novels, The View, Tyra Banks, or otherwise living vicariously through their single girlfriends. By playfully staying her source of that rush, you maintain the position of stimulating her imagination. Married men who were defeated before they committed don't think that elements of game apply to marriage out of fear of upsetting their wives' frame, when in fact, being cocky and funny, neg hits, and many other aspects of game work wonderfully. Just kicking her in the ass and busting her chops playfully is sometimes enough to send the message that you are fearless of her response. You can break her frame with cockiness and the imaginings that come with it. Breaking from an established, predictable familiarity is often a great way to fire her imagination. Married guys will report how sexual their wives become after they get to the gym and start shaping up after a long layoff or for the first time. It's easy to pass this off as looking better makes women more aroused, which is true, but underneath that is the breaking of a pattern. You're controllable and predictable so long as you're pudgy and listless. What other woman would want you? But start changing your patterns, get into shape, make more money, get a promotion, improve and demonstrate your higher value in some appreciable way, and the imagination and competition anxiety returns.